Hi, welcome to Nenny's Country Treasures. If you're new here, I am Joanna, and I am glad you're here. I like to DIY and sew on a budget. Now that we have who I am and what I do out of the way, let's get to crafting. So for the first project, I'm going to use one of these paint stir sticks. It's a large one from probably Lowe's. And I got these letters from Walmart, but of course they didn't have a O. So my friend's like, well, just cut it off. So we're going to try because they're really thin, made out of chipboard. And so I was going to use my miter shears, but I figured I wouldn't be able to turn them like I'm going to turn this. And this was hard enough, so, you know. But I got it. Regular scissors I don't think would have worked as well. But these are garden shears that I always get every year at the Dollar Tree. I pick up a couple pair at a time in case I break one because that's been known to happen. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and unwrap the rest of my little letters. And like I said, I got these from Walmart. So now I got them all open, and this was my inspiration piece. It's not going to come out exactly like this, but it's going to be close enough for me. The way I wanted it anyways, or saw it in my little old brain. But I'm going to now just put hot glue on here and attach it to my paint stir stick when I figure out how long that I need to cut it. Now I'm just going to mark it with this pink tool. I love this pink tool from the Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to take my miter box, and you'll see me struggling, and that's because I'm sitting down. I'm not used to sawing while I'm sitting, so that's why, you know, I'm having a little trouble. I am used to sawing while I'm sleeping. My husband says I saw logs in my sleep, but, you know, that's a whole nother story, y'all. But anyways, I'm just going to cut this off where I need it, and then I am going to sand my edges because it's kind of rough when I saw it. And then, yes, I just wiped my dust on the floor. I'll vacuum, don't worry. Okay, now I'm just going to put a little line of glue on the bottom, and then I'm going to add these blocks later for stabilization. And now I have these pins, clothespin snips, snips, whatever. You know what clothespins do. I got these from the Dollar Tree, and I probably should have left them plain. I could have, but I wanted to give them a little color, so I didn't want to paint all that. So I just took these Sharpie pens and start coloring, and they worked out very well. So anyways, but like I said, I kind of wish now looking at it that I would have left it plain, but that's okay. I also colored one of the mittens from the pack of stickers from the Dollar Tree. And now I'm just going to take my letters, and I'm going to take, and I was going to use acrylic, but I ended up using chalk paint just because I could put my brush down in this bottle where I couldn't the acrylic. But anyway, I'm just going to take my stiff brush. I get these at the Dollar Tree, and I love them. And I'm just going to give them a little brush coat of paint, a little heavier on the top to kind of make it look like, you know, snow fell on it. But it is hard to paint burlap, y'all, so these brushes work very well. Some of the times the paint went a little heavy, so, you know, it is what it is. But it looks good when I get it done, so I'm happy with it. Now I'm just going to paint my base stick here, my ruler, and I'm not going to worry about total coverage because you know I like distressing, because now when it's dry, I'm going to sand some of that off to make it a little more distressed. Now I'm just going to take a line of glue on the bottom with my detailed glue gun. And I always use Gorilla Hot Glue now. It's less leakage in your glue guns, and it's just great glue. But anyways, there's just a tip for you. I'm just going to put glue on the edges or the bottom edge of all of these and put them on. And the only one that gave me a little trouble was the O. And that's because I didn't have but just a little bit of space to put the glue. But anyways, I'm just going to line these up the way I want them. You do have to hold them for just a second, but you know, it's all good. It sticks really, really well. And now I'm just going to add glue on two edges of the blocks, one bottom and one side, and push them down and over. But you do have to hold your little letters or they'll push over. But anyways, I'm going to do this on anything that is sticking down to the wood just to stabilize them and hold them on better. Now that they are all glued on, I am going to give them a coat of paint. I'm not really worried about the back, just the sides and the top in case they are seen. Now that all the blocks are painted, I'm just going to start adding my little embellishments. And I know I want the pine tree in the middle of the O. So I'm going to add glue and stick that there. I did pull, as you can see laying there, the back of the clothespin off the snowman. It wouldn't come off, so I just pulled off what I could, and it works. So I'm just going to stick this stuff, you know, where it'll fit and where I think that it should go. When I saw these little houses at Walmart, I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I just knew I loved them. And this one actually is perfect for this DIY. And now I'm going to be adding these wooden snowflakes, and I am going to be putting some it's iridescent glitter like stuff. It's actually a fabric glitter marker, but you can use fingernail polish, you can Mod Podge and sprinkle glitter, you can leave them like they are, you can paint them, do whatever you want to them. And these are wooden snowflakes that normally I pick up at Hobby Lobby. And now that they're all dry, with the help of my heat gun, I'm just going to randomly place them where I think they look good. And that's all up to you because we are all different. God made us that way, and it is okay. This is such a quick and easy project. I saw this hat at the Dollar Tree, and when I saw it, I instantly saw Sock Monkey. So I wanted to do this for my grandson. So I just take button thread. It's really, really thick thread. And this is the only color I had, which it really doesn't matter because you're not going to see it anyway. And then I had these big buttons that have the little doodad on the back. And I prefer these buttons because actually I feel, and so does my daughter, that when you when you add the buttons that have the things on the inside, that it makes it look like it has scary eyes. So I prefer these buttons as opposed to a normal button. But anyways, it may be because I always sewed the button on with white thread and that made it look kind of creepy. I don't know. But anyway, I am going, to sew these buttons just by going from the inside through the loop and down through to the inside. I absolutely hate hand sewing. But in this case, you have no choice, I don't think. But anyway, nonetheless, it is super cute when I get done, and my grandson loved it. And this is what it looks like when I get done. Sock monkey, just by adding simple buttons. Couldn't have got any easier, y'all. And it's cute. Okay, for this next one, this is one of the chalkboard houses that I had just got from the Dollar Tree. It's in my haul. And I pulled the sticker off and I made this decal. I can make a decal better than I can write, y'all. My writing is terrible. And this is one of the good things about having a Cricut or a Silhouette. Preferably, I like the Silhouette. The software is much easier to work with. If you buy the business edition, it's one price. You don't have to buy anything else. And you are able to create your own SVGs and do all kinds of things that you cannot do with the Cricut. But anyway, that's another video. I did have to sand this because this thing had some splinters on it. So I'm just, sanding it down a little bit to get those off, and then I just wipe it down so that my vinyl don't have any problems sticking. Trying to line it up. I want this at the bottom because I'm going to be adding something to the top. So I am just putting this down here. I had trouble lining this up because I can't see what I'm doing, and I'm trying to show y'all, but I got it pretty good. It looks great once I get it in there. And this is just a font that I got from DaFont. I believe it's called Honduras. Pretty sure it's called Honduras. And I got it from DaFont. But then I peel my transfer tape off, and there it is. It's so pretty. It is so pretty. I love the writing. Okay, I'm taking one of these garland strips. They come in a pack from the Dollar Tree. And I am just going to curl it around and then, wind it around itself just a little. Then I'm going to snip it. I love these little mini wire cutters. I don't even know where I got them. I got them a long time ago and I love them. But anyway, then I have to give this bad boy a haircut because it's bushy. This stuff stuck to everything, like with static, like it was stuck everywhere, and I had a hard time getting it off. But anyways, I cut this down considerably, and then I used my little Ladybug vac to clean up my mess. Y'all, I will tell you that I was using this Ladybug vac one time that I'm fixing to pull out here. And I don't know what I had vacuumed up, but it started smoking. I thought I caught my bug on fire. It was so funny. But anyways, I shut it off real quick and emptied it out. I probably need to empty it now, but anyway, that was just funny. So you might want to watch what you kind of, vacuum up in these things because it got hot and was smoking. I had a smoking bug. Okay, now that story's over, you saw me cleaning up all my junk. I'm just going to take this pip berries that I got from the Dollar Tree. You can also get these at Hobby Lobby if you can't find them at the Dollar Tree at any time. But I am going to unroll a little bit of this, and I'm going to just wrap these pip berries. I got two different kinds. Well, not kinds, colors. I got one lighter and one a little darker. But anyways, if you don't have the pip berries or you can't get them, you can use any of the little styrofoam berry picks. I lost my footage of me gluing the wreath down, but anyways, you know how to glue. And I just made a teeny tiny little bow from ribbon that I bought from Hobby Lobby to place on the top, and I am done. And I love this. This is so, well, of course, I'm going to say it's so stinking cute, but it is cute. Okay, so in this last DIY, I'm going to take this plaque, wall hanging, whatever, decor, I don't know. But anyways, it's cute. But I'm going to make it more Christmassy, so I'm going to try to remove this heart without tearing too much of the paper or whatever's back there. It was so hard to get off, but I am shimmying this. It's actually a painter's knife thing or whatever you call it. I don't even know. So when it popped off, I noticed that it peeled the paper up with it. So I'm just going to finish peeling all this paper off, and then I'm going to give it a little sanding to get it a little smoother. I'm not going to really worry about this too much because I'm going to turn it over and use the blank side. I'll deal with that side later because I want it to look finished. But anyway, we're going to flip it over, and then I took the string off the top. There it is, and it's easy to put back in, and you'll see that later. But I'm just going to take my white chalk paint, and I'm going to give this a coat of paint, but not full coverage because I want it to look like wood, rustic wood. So I'm just going to dry brush on here some paint until it looks good to my little eyes. Now that I have it to my liking, I am going to sand around the edges, especially, and some in the middle. I want to distress it just a little bit more, and I'm going to be going down the middle, and I am using the side of my sander here to make these streaks in it. And now I got it the way I want it, and I'm throwing all this junk all over me. I am a messy crafter, to say the least. But anyway, I clean up my messes. I have a vacuum in my room. I'm just going to take this chalkboard paint, not chalk paint, chalkboard paint that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put it on this wood round. This is actually good paint in general. It's thick, it gives good coverage, and it's a real rich black. But anyway, you want to make sure you're going in one direction with your brush strokes, or at least I do. I found it easier, and it looks a lot better when it's finished. And all it needed was one coat. You can do two after it dries if you prefer, but one was all I done, and it works fine. And once I get this coated around the sides and everything, I'm just going to set it over there and let it dry. Now I'm going to take this piece of painter stick. It's one of the large painter sticks. And I'm going to glue a normal popsicle stick on the edge of it. And I'm using my TiteBond. I love this glue. It works great. And it dries where you can work with it in about 15 minutes. So I'm just going to apply my line of glue, and I'm going to push it up against this board as tight as I can push it with my hands. Wipe away any excess glue. And then I'm going to set that over to the side to dry. Now I'm going to grab my board back, and I'm going to get this bush, tree, whatever. I buy these at Hobby Lobby when they come out at Christmas time. I don't use the bush per se. So I'm going to take all this off. I thought it would come out of there, but that's like solid. But anyways, that's okay. I just want to get branches off of these. I really don't like these little plasticky looking pine cones, but you know what, dude? They don't come off too easy. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm just going to pull some sprigs off and cut them down and use them on here as a little swag type deal just to decorate the top so it's not so boring. And then I have real mini pine cones that probably I got from the Dollar Tree. I don't know. Could have got them from Hobby Lobby. I do get bags of them from the Hobby Lobby when they go on sale. So I made this decal, and because my writing stinks, y'all, seriously. You do not have to have a silhouette or Cricut. I do prefer my silhouette over the Cricut. You can use stickers from the Dollar Tree to spell this out. You can print it on paper and then, you know, do the old school scribble on the back, trace it on, and then paint it, or use markers and put it on that way. I prefer, since I have the machine and it's easier, just to do the vinyl. Now I'm just going to burnish it down. And when you use your burnishing tool, I do it at an angle. Because if you do it straight up, it'll rip your vinyl because it catches your letters. So I do it at an angle and just kind of rub that way. And when I am pulling this, I didn't realize that I'm taking my D. Okay, so that's an easy fix. It didn't even show really. I just burnish it back down. Try again. Didn't come off. I hate this transfer tape. If it's not duck, I don't like it. And then I just push it down, and I had to, they were coming up a little bit. No big deal. Normally, like I've said before, if I don't let my paint dry 24 hours, even using a heat gun, I have trouble. So, anyways, I'm just going to remedy that in a minute, and you'll see. But I got my letters down, and I'm going to try to rub them, but that doesn't, I'm afraid I'm going to rip them. So, let me show y'all something. Okay, if you get a tennis ball, and you rub that tennis ball, especially on a wall, if the wall has texture, or anything like that has texture, you use a tennis ball and rub it, and look, if you can see it, the letters go down into what you're doing, and it holds great. You won't need any Mod Podge over this unless you want to, because it is permanent vinyl. It will stay there. So now I'm just going to add TiteBond to my little shelf here, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom. You've seen me use my finger to spread the glue out. That's just because I didn't want it blobbing everywhere. And this will hold fine. You can add staples to the back, or brad nails, if you want a little extra security. But the reason I used the thick paint stir stick is because it gave me more adhesion, something like that. A bigger space to put the glue. That's in my terms. Simplified. Okay, now I'm just going to take my distress brush and some paint, and I'm going to paint that little shelf. If you do this DIY, make sure you paint the front and the sides of your shelf. And I'm also going to paint the bottom in case, if you hang it up, somebody could see under it. And I just like my projects to look finished when I can. Now that I have that finished, I'm just going to take that little chalkboard disc, plaque, thingy, whatever, and I'm going to take my hot glue and glue it down. But first, when you have chalkboard surfaces, you want to take a piece of chalk and rub over it and then wipe it off. This is priming it so that when you write on it, that it does not leave your writing behind when you try to erase it. So I'm just going to make sure that it works. And it does fine. One coat of paint did fine. So now I'm going to take my hot glue, and I'm going to put hot glue all around the back of the disc, and then I'm going to place it right in the center. We're all secure with hot glue, and that's not going anywhere. Now I'm just going to take my greenery, and this one was a little too long, so I'm going to snip it off. I was going to glue it, and then I thought, nah, it's bushy. So I trimmed it with scissors and cut it down. See, right like this. That way it has more of a flat surface back there, so that it could glue down better. And then I use this little tool to push it down because that glue is hot. So I trimmed this one also to give it a flat place to stick. Or what, you know what I'm talking about. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm sorry. My explanations sometimes don't make sense. But anyways, you see me gluing it down, okay? So that's the deal. That's what we're doing. All right. Looks good to me. So I'm going to add my 2 pine cones in the middle, And then that little cluster of berries down there, they're just little styrofoam balls. They came off of a pick last year. And I'm going to separate some of those and just place them here and there around the pine cones. Now, it looks good just like this, but of course I'm not going to leave it alone. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm just going to take a stiff brush and I'm going to get a little bit of paint on there, and I am going to dab it and brush it on these pine needles things. They might even be cedar. I don't know. It's just, they're small, and I really, really like the look of these particular branches. So that's why I always get them every year. But anyway, I'm just going to rub my paint all over, and it is looking better to me already. It's a winter thing, so it needs, it needs a little snow. So that's what we did. Now I'm just going to flip it over to the back, and I'm going to wipe it and make sure I got all the crud off. And then I cut a piece of brown craft paper. I get it at the Dollar Tree, but you can get it anywhere. And I got this ginormous craft glue stick. I think I got it at the Dollar Tree, actually. And I'm just going to put glue all over the back of this, and then I'm going to place my paper, and I purposely cut it bigger. I done that so that I can trim around it. It looks better. It's easier to do it rather than trying to trace a piece of paper and get it perfect. This is just easier for me. So now that I have the paper glued down, I am going to just take my little cut mat from the Dollar Tree and a craft knife and trim all the way around as close as I can without, kind of cutting or snagging the board, and cut all the excess paper off. Now I have it all cut off, and it gives it a nice finished backing, and it looks good, and the paper will not go anywhere. So now I got to poke the holes to add my string back in. And I love these little pink tools from the Dollar Tree. I use them for everything, y'all. So these have little shoestring things on them. And all you have to do is poke that right back through that hole, and you're done. And then this little bottom tray is to hold your chalk. Now, ain't that just snazzy? I think that's just cute. Of course, I think it's cute. Everything is cute, including my grandson. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up like he did. And if you wouldn't mind, I would love it if you would subscribe and become part of my wonderful YouTube family. And ring that bell to be notified when I upload a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. You are a blessing.